Good afternoon, class. Today I would like to teach you about energy. So, what is energy? Energy is all around us in different forms, and it can take most forms. It can be in most forms such as heat energy, light energy, electrical energy, chemical potential energy, elastic energy, gravitational energy, and kinetic energy, and more. So when we think about energy, what are we actually talking about? We're talking about the movement of an intangible object. An intangible object would be something that you cannot see, or you cannot see with your visible eye. So for example, we talk about heat energy, right? Heat energy would be energy that gives us heat. You know, when we feel warm, it's because we're receiving heat energy. So when we talk about heat energy, we could be talking about the energy from the sun, right? So the sun is one of the greatest sources of heat energy, right? Soil, plants, farming, and so much more gets done because of the heat energy from the sun. The sun is a unlimited source of energy, so it's one of the best sources of heat energy. Now, if we move on to the next type of energy, we have light energy. Light energy could be light energy would be the light that we receive from any object or given thing. The tube light, the television, which gives us the moving images, right? That would be light energy. This tube light and the light bulbs and everything that helps us see in the dark, right? We cannot see in a dark place, but if we have light, we can then see, right? So light energy helps us see. So most things around us that helps us see would be considered light energy. So the sun would be a source of light energy as well. Lights would be a source of light energy as well. So when we talk about heat energy, we're talking about feeling warm. And when we talk about light energy, we're talking about energy that helps us see. Right? Now we can move on to another kind of energy known as electrical energy. Electrical energy is, as the name suggests, energy that we get from electricity. Electrical energy would also be called electricity, right? And electricity or electrical energy helps power up our schools, our cities, our towns, right? It helps give us electricity to use most of the appliances we use, such as a TV or a computer. That would be known as electrical energy, right? So sources of electrical energy could also be a renewable source, such as hydroelectricity, which is where a waterfall would give us electrical energy, in the sense that the force of the water from the height of a waterfall, when the water goes and falls at such a level, at such a great height, it has a lot of force with it, right? And because of that amount of force, electricity gets produced. That's electrical energy. So we have our TV, we have our computer, right? These are devices devices that need electrical energy to function. So now we've talked about heat energy, which gets us warm, light energy, which helps us see, electrical energy, which powers up most of the appliances around us, right? Now we can come to chemical potential energy. Potential energy is the energy within an object or within an object, the potential energy that it has would be known as would be something like food, right? We eat food and we digest it. Now, even though you cannot see the energy, right, we still have received energy from eating food. So food would be a source of chemical potential energy. Batteries would be a source of chemical potential energy. It's energy that has the potential to reveal itself, right? But it's not revealed itself, but it has the potential to reveal itself. For example, batteries, right? Or food as well. Food has potential energy, right? Potential is something that the meaning of potential would be to have the opportunity to have everything that you require to do something, right? So if you require to be a very good student, right? You also have the potential to be a very good student, and to be honest, every student has the potential to do a lot of great things, but it's only when we act on our potential and when we do things do we recognize our potential, right? If we do not use it, if we do not do anything with it, it's not really there, right? But the idea that we can do these things and the idea that it is possible to do these things would be called the idea's potential, right? So we talk about chemical potential energy. We're talking about instruments such as batteries or food, which give us the energy which has energy inside and transfers on to the appliance or us. So now we come down to elastic energy. Elastic energy is also a kind of energy that helps, it's kind of an energy like, for example, a rubber band or a string which is an elastic string, when we use our goggles to swim underwater, right? We have an elastic attached to the goggle, so when we put it across our head, there is force, right? Because the elastic stretches and compresses, right? And when it compresses to our head, it makes sure water does not go inside our goggles. So when we swim, we have goggles, and the goggles are held together to a face so tight because of the elastic force of the elastic energy, right? And that's why water does not come into our eyes while we swim. Elastic energy would be an elastic band. It could also be a spring. A spring, when we press a spring downwards, it's got a lot of elastic energy in it, right? Because when we let go of it, the spring is going to bounce back up, right? So that's when we know there is elastic energy. Now we move on to gravitational energy. What is gravitational energy? When we're above the ground, right? When we're a few feet above the ground and we jump off a platform. So if I jump off the table or if I jump off a heightened platform, I reach the ground really fast, right? That's because of gravity. And while I'm jumping, I'm filled with the gravitational potential energy because I'm above the ground, right? So all things above the ground would have a certain gravitational energy. If I pick this up, right? If I drop it, it's going to fall. And it falls because of the gravitational potential energy. So when an object has mass, it also has gravitational potential energy or gravitational energy as long as it's on a heightened surface, right? So if someone were to go skydiving, which means to have a parachute and jump off an airplane, and just before we can reach the ground, we deploy our parachute and a big ball of either of material comes out of the bag, and that helps stop that helps slow us down and slow our gravitational energy down. So if we fall from a high surface, we're going to fall really hard, right? But a parachute would help us use some air resistance and slow us down so that we can reach the ground safely. But while we drop at such high speeds, that is called gravitational energy, and it's because of gravity, right? So what would be an example of gravitational energy? An example of gravitational energy would be rain. So when it rains, water, we're being rained upon, right, by water from the sky, and sometimes it comes down at a force, right? The reason for that force, or the reason why sometimes it stings when you get wet from the rain, it's because of the gravitational energy of that rain. The raindrops are coming from such high levels, such high places that by the time it reaches us and hits our skin, it sometimes could give us a little sting, right? And more. And now we come down to kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is when an object has mass and it's moving. It's known to have kinetic energy. So for example, when a horse is running, we can measure the horse's kinetic energy. Why? Because it has mass and it is moving. It is running. So while it's running, while it's moving, we know that this horse has kinetic energy, right? If I hit one, if I play a game like pool or snooker, right? Where you hit a white ball onto a color ball or a striped ball and it goes into a pocket. The force at which the white ball hits the other ball, the object ball, that would be known as the kinetic energy used on that white ball. So if the kinetic energy is high, the white ball will go at a faster speed, hit the object ball, and the object ball will also be propelled by a strong force, right? And that's because of the high amount of kinetic energy from me hitting the white ball. But if I hit the white ball slowly, the white ball will roll and hit the object ball slowly, and the object ball is going to move slowly as well. This happens because of the less amount of kinetic energy used. If you use a lot of kinetic energy, it's going to be stronger, harder, faster, right? And if you use a less amount of kinetic energy, it's going to be slower, but it's still moving and it's still an object with mass, and as long as it's moving, it has a kinetic energy. So, running so running etc. would be certain things that we do that has kinetic energy. Why? Because if we were the object, we have mass and we have speed. So because we have mass and speed, we have kinetic energy. So if we talk about energy now, there are so many different types of energy we've just discussed. We've discussed heat energy, energy that makes us warm, right, from the sun, and basically energy that gives out which gives out heat would be heat energy. Anything, it could be a blow dryer. Where our hair is wet, we use a blow dryer to dry our hair. Heat energy is being used to dry our hair. If we talk about light energy, maybe the blow dryer has lights on it, right? And those lights help tell us if the blow dryer is on a fast mode or slow mode, if it's on a very hot mode or not so hot mode, right? So the light which is on the blow dryer tells us, okay, so we can understand if the blow dryer is on its maximum mode or not, right? And we can adjust it to what we want because of the light inside the blow dryer that tells us what mode and what speed and what is the setting for it. Electrical energy. A blow dryer needs electricity to work, right? So you got to plug in your blow dryer to your socket. Now when you plug it into your socket and your socket has electricity, right? Because of the power grid of the city or town. Now when electricity comes into your blow dryer will work, right? You want to charge your mobile phone, you need electrical energy, right? Electricity. Chemical potential energy. Now we have batteries, we use a clock, right? A clock will not work forever. So we need to use batteries, and so the clock will work, right? So we keep changing batteries. So what is a battery? A battery is that object which has the potential energy inside it, right? So when we put a battery into a clock and the clock works for a few years or a few months, it's because of the chemical potential energy of that battery. Now we go to elastic energy, which is energy that when is basically when an object is compressed and it builds up a lot of force which basically expresses itself outwards, right? When you compress this object, it has force, potential force to express outwards. So if you pull back a rubber band and let it go, a rubber band is going to hit your hand or it's going to fly away from you, right? It's because it's elastic. When you pull it, it's going to try to get back to its original shape, but depending on the force used, it could create a force that makes the rubber band fly away, right? When we wear our goggles to swim, we put the elastic band behind our head, we pull it in front of our eyes, and then we let it go, so it creates a suction covering our eyes. It's because of this elastical energy that we have this force that helps keep our eyes dry and we can open our eyes underwater. We have gravitational energy, which means if we jump from a high surface, the impact that we have on the ground will be because of the gravitational energy that we had, right? Any object above ground has gravitational energy. And last, we come to kinetic energy, which is when an object that has mass is in the process of moving, or a horse running, or a man running, or a bus going at a certain speed. They all have kinetic energy. Why? It's an object which has mass and it is moving. Thank you very much, and this is the lesson for today. Energy. Have a great day.